Welcome back. It is yours truly, Nick of Movie AV Impulse. And before I get into my 4K rant, because this is definitely a comic book movie that should get a 4K restoration. Lord knows we've done a whole bunch of other comic book movies and a lot of them didn't even deserve the treatment, but this one definitely does. But before we get into it, hit that like for me. You don't have to subscribe, but just hitting that like will get me into that algorithm, because what you don't like, somebody else might love. But first, let's get into that intro. Now, in my Wednesday video, I had left a little clue that was either in the background or was on me, and a couple people guessed. They tried to guess and they still couldn't figure out the movie that I was going to be talking about today, and that movie is Dick Tracy. Dick Tracy is probably one of the best comic book adaptation movies, especially from my days. This came out in 1990. And it was starring Warren Beatty, who is actually also the director of this movie. You had William Forsythe, Dick Van Dyke. I mean, there is a list of people that are in this movie. Al Pacino, he plays Big Boy. And one of the, arguably, every boy and every man's childhood fantasy singer back then, Madonna. God damn, she was hot back then. I don't know what the hell she done did to herself now.
Show the lady why you wear the mask. She's a living work of art.
Yeah, I know she was. Let me get back to this. Yeah, good. Cool. Dick Tracy, in my opinion, has one of the best color palettes in a movie, period. The reds, the greens, the yellows, they were all highlighted, and that was actually done on purpose, as the comic book that came out in the 30s, which started out as just a newspaper comic book strip, turned into a full-blown comic adaptation. So even the cartoon in the 60s, all the yellows, the reds, the blues, the greens, they were all highlighted. So Warren really wanted to bring that characteristic to the movie when he made it. Now, I have the Blu-ray release, as you've seen. I'm not too crazy over what it looks like. The colors are very muted, very dull, and of course the images that I upload, some of them are going to look brighter than others, but that's just due to the way that my camera takes pictures. This storyline, the movie, everything in itself is definitely worthy of a 4K restoration. If Warren, who owns the rights to it, would just wake up and smell the coffee and realize that if we put a 4K out, people will buy it. And I don't know if it, he did make this movie in Disney Studios, so I'm wondering if Disney would back him in doing it. But then again, they always use 60 gig discs, and I really can't stand that. It's like splurge for the extra money and use 100 gig disc. That way you get more room to bring that movie to life, because the more gigs you have to bring the movie to life, the better off the HDR10, the HDR10 Plus could be, and or the Dolby Vision. But like I said before, you have to pay for Dolby Vision, and a lot of people, especially when they're just trying to get a money grab, they don't want to pay for the Dolby Vision. But
oh my God, quick, grab some money.
Using Dolby Vision would be the way to go for this movie. There is a lot of dark scenes, so I really think that Dolby Vision, as far as the shadowing, the black levels, will really bring it up to par. The HDR would probably, if we were to just stick to HDR, it would have to be HDR10 Plus, because it is absolutely gorgeous. Once again, the color palette in this movie is just absolutely breathtaking. And even on just the Blu-ray, if I play with the enhancements on my Blu-ray player a little bit, I can really get it to pop a little bit more. But if we just got it on 4K, I wouldn't have to do any of that, because the imagination that Warren put behind this movie and the well thought out acting and everybody's portrayal of their character. Madonna is breathless. It was all just great. And the score on this movie probably has one of the best soundtracks. Donnie Elfman did the main theme for Dick Tracy, which kind of sounds a little bit like a lighter version of Batman 89 almost. But just, again, an amazing score in this movie. The only thing that I think that even the 4K we could probably do without is there's not really much going on as far as like height channels will be concerned because of the way that things were shot. I think just a simple DTS, maybe a DTS-X HD upgrade. I mean, the Blu-ray does have the DTS, but I really think if we just brought out the HD version, we would definitely benefit from the sound and maybe bring up the dialogue a little bit, because I noticed in the center channel the dialogue wasn't as loud as I wanted it to be. But other than that, there's really no other complaints. They really don't even have to go all out. I mean, they can make this a 7.1. That would be great. But if you wanted to stick to the 5.1, if you got a good receiver, it'll definitely, add those extras in the channels. So no worry there. I would like to give a shout out to that stuntman, because the way he hit this light pole, my God, that had to hurt. But the stunt work in this movie, and Warren actually did a lot of his own stunt work, but the guy on the pole was not him. It was really good. I like the action. I like the storyline. Everything really flows together. And the one thing that I found that would really benefit, because this is just a food for thought and what I want to see, I think the yellows in this movie should be brought up just a little bit more than every other color, because that's Dick Tracy's signature outfit. The yellow hat with the yellow trench coat. I remember when I was a kid, my dad bought me a poster, and instead of it being yellow, like the yellow poster, I'll see if I could find a picture of the poster. It was more like a gold flake. It was like the best poster I've ever seen in my life at the time. I know this month I've been doing a lot of 4K rants, but this is kind of like my month where it's Thanksgiving. It's not quite Christmas. I'm not going to get into the Christmas stuff yet. I know a lot of movies have come out, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I just recently bought The Grinch on 4K because I love The Grinch. My wife absolutely hates it. She says that Jim Carrey is scary in the whole makeup. And I want to know if somebody else thinks that same thing. I absolutely love that one. It has become one of my Christmas favorites. Every Christmas I have to watch that. And of course, A Christmas Story. Thanks for watching. And if you are one of the lucky followers that follows me on Instagram, I have a stack of movies that I am going to somehow be giving away. I'm going to post a picture. And people who don't have these movies, some are 4Ks and some are Blu-rays, because I have doubles of them, I'm just getting rid of them. So be on the lookout. Within the next couple of days, I'm going to post a picture. And if you see a movie in there that you like or you want, and you're not going to take it just to resell it, because I'm not selling it, and I don't think it's right that you take a movie and go sell it. But that's just my opinion. But if you see a movie that you like in there, DM me your address, and if I still have the movie, if somebody else hasn't claimed it, it's yours. But anyways, thanks for watching. As far as my top 5 for Wednesday, this one's going to be a real treat, and I think you're really going to like it. I'm sticking with the 80s and maybe a little bit of 90s, but it's going to be my favorite.
Move it or lose it, sister!
Like I'm going to tell you. Come on. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and I will see y'all Wednesday.
Thank you. You love me. You really love me. not going anywhere.